Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Supreme Lord 2020 as Italy in the Blitzkrieg Scenario. Last out back in June, I think it was, in-game time, June, something like that. And it's now November, and I did say that if we ever get war decked by anybody, I'll just try and make peace and continue on. But if there's one nation that I would prefer to just not do that, hence why I'm recording now on November 25th, 2024, is once again, it's Canada deciding to declare war to try and regain their land. At least that's what it seems like. Oh, and automatically must gain some territory due to the supply differences. So we are already at war, and we're just going to continue on. Also send some of my units down here to capture the land that's been given back thanks to the United States, and pray they don't declare war again. But right now the whole empire is outraged at what happened, and we're just gonna go to war. And of course they regained some land anyway, so that's fine. Oh, but first gotta deal with these supply trucks. What else? Oh yeah, I actually did manage to do some improvements for the social spending at least, so that hopefully things get a little better. As you can see, social assistance is right now the most expensive, unfortunately. So that's one thing. But as you can see, everything is, well, literally much more expensive. Taxes are 16.3%, with each being, currently 10%, 2%, and 7% in differences. And sadly, on occasion, even during the peacetime, there was slight balancing, but unfortunately things are just not quite balanced out. So that's one thing to worry about. And here comes the Canadian forces, and I have managed to succeed in building up my military base over here, except I did make a slight flaw. I already got 10 leopards built, and they are already about a month back. But I kind of realized a little too late that in every single one of these, with the exception of 2 of these land fabrications, the Ariete 2 tanks take a lot longer to build than the leopards. So that is something of a I was not really being careful about. So I just built some more leopards and a few other semi-cheap units, and if possible, if the economy improved, I would have probably build another 2 more land fabrications to build the Ariete Italian tanks, and the rest of the German and what is this again? Eastern European design to get them over with. And I still have also all sorts of designs being built everywhere, and of course my navy being, well, small. Oh, and I did manage to bring a few of my ships back to home port thanks to the transport ships that I keep sending out this class, the A5326, that are constantly rendezvousing each of these cruisers and such, and destroyers to reach toward the port. So that's one minor annoyance to deal with, and right now there is a Canadian Storm Hunter. And a lot of auto annoyances. So I gotta redeploy more units and send them out. And of course, as always, our presence in North America is rather small. Not to mention, our reserves are also too small. Huge number of units, but the amount of soldiers we need is just not enough. Something that's always going to be a problem. Also, there was even before Canada declared war, I was kind of considering a possible war against Russia by gaining obviously access through Finland, and try to help them and Norway, I guess, regain some of the lands and expand our own empire. Though that also could mean, but that also kind of means we don't have to worry about a war against Belarus, as they are, I think they were allies. Yeah, they are allies. And also got some more stuff to deal with, and that's about one thing. Speaking of which, Nambia down here in Southern Africa lands is not looking good. Rhodesia is still strong. Mozambique, I don't know what they're doing. Nigeria, their economy has greatly weakened now, somewhat, with the exception of Sudan under attack by two fronts, of course. Whether or not if Egypt would conquer them, that remains to be seen. But elsewhere, no progress in Brazil, not much in Central America. In the Pacific and Asia, India is not regaining land. China, I don't know what they're doing. North Korea is still alive, even after all this time. What? You want... Seriously? What? Okay. Okay. Seriously? No. Screw you, Canada. Screw you. You have got to be joking. I put a full garrison here and they got taken out. You know what? This is really obviously going to keep becoming an enormous frustration for me. Especially right now with the problems of, oh, I don't know, not having enough troops. And the fact that everything is, as always, expensive. Everything's always going to be expensive, no matter how much I try to do. It's just never going to be enough. Balancing the economy, that's not enough. So what do I do? Increase taxes, I guess. Which, unfortunately, would be a bit of annoyance. So, I'm just going to constantly deal with one problem after another. Now, if we can just deal with this Storm Hunter, where are you guys going? I am not... As always. Gotta deal with this TE1 MBT. You guys head back towards... Where is this again? Joliet? And of course the Canadians are actually strong now. Well, that's surprising. Wait a minute. How much supplies do they have? Okay, that's understandable. Petrol's understandable, but military goods? Okay, wait a minute. What is their tech? Let me see. Canada. Where are you? Rank 110. We are only 108. Still. But still. Well, I guess this war is a loss. So for the first time, Canada actually is gonna win, so to speak. I really don't know if peace can still be possible, but so long as these garrisons are still alive, I'm not gonna bother. But will you just... It does seem like my AI cabinet minister likes to make some odd decisions, as always. And of course, the US Storm Hunters, as always, are going to be a nightmare if they decide to join the war again. So, the problem of not having enough troops is pretty obvious. Military salaries, that's one thing. The training needed is anything but an annoyance. So I may have been a little overconfident, but It's just the way it is, I guess. Okay, alright. Okay, so there's already a garrison here. That's gone. And Nambia has finally fallen, actually. So, a new victory recently for South Africa. Not so sure about Mozambique or even Rhodesia. As for us, however, good lord. Well, somehow things have not gone well. Everything's falling apart. I guess I have no choice but to reluctantly ask for a peace treaty. We have lost that damn town. I'm not going to be able to capture it back. Pushing the Canadians back is not going to be possible, it seems. Yep, not possible. The annoyances are pretty obvious. And they're going to counterattack, and they're going to capture that again. You gotta be kidding me.
We need reinforcements.
Great. Okay, we've kind of retaken that back. Push forward. Surround this TE1, I guess. Take it out and retake it, and that's about it. Yeesh. And the Canadians are again counterattacking. And why have they not? Thank you! For God's sake. Once again, we're not going to be at war, but this is still going to be frustrating. And as always, our economy is not improving. Well, I guess I'll just keep getting bonds. So unfortunately the bonds will continue to increase, but nothing is improving. Sad to say. At this rate, I'm not... Okay, I'm gonna go to 50% now. Taxes are gonna be 25.9, leave that alone. And that's about it. Meanwhile, I'll just keep trying and send some more reinforcements from the mainland. But that's easier said than done. Especially with not enough actual troops. Reduce the salaries to probably about that much, I guess. Maintenance and training, however, I will go slightly above. But with the way things are, I do have a feeling that the United States would just declare war out of nowhere again. So that's one frustration, and a frustration with the Canadian government, it seems. So unfortunately, our military has just suddenly become rather weak. Rather disappointing. But now I gotta deal with the problems of trying to make sure to maintain a full amount of garrisons. Same could be said for this fortress, which is full of garrisons. But production of new units is, as always, going to be slow. Finally, the new tanks are built, but I'm just going to reserve them to this fortress. And I know for the fact that I got some units that are still stuck. Yeah, these ships. Where are they? You are supposed to be rendezvousing with these destroyers. And I swear I have another ship somewhere. Oh, there you are. Go back to here, see you can get this destroyer back. Yeah, that's gonna be one annoyance. so much depth. There's no way to rebuy them unless I use a cheat code. But I'm not gonna be the cheating bastard to use codes to gain a large amount of money, alright? That's not me. I'd rather do this legitly. I'd rather do this somehow legitly at least, but still. The current most expensive is infrastructure and frustrating in a way, social assistance. And unfortunately, inflation is 5.6, unemployment's 4.1, and because of that screw up of not having enough reserves, became one annoyance to deal with. We need more troops, we need a lot more. Which is kind of silly to think about when you look at the number of the active staff, and of course the population-wise. So that's one problem to deal with. Approval rate may have gone up a bit, but still. The main problem is that I repeat again, I cannot make any new alliances. Every single nation, for whatever reason, even before I started this LP, simply hates Italy. I don't know why, but it doesn't really make sense, not to mention being the ones who did go to war with the Greater German Reich, and conquer them, of course. But come on, that's one tiny thing that still doesn't make any sense. Most of my forces are back now, reserving, and now the number of reserves has increased a bit. But still, this is a slight problem in North America. Hopefully, we're gonna try and build up our military bit by bit, which could mean I may need to do another time skip. But as you can see, our treasury is dropping fast. Despite taxes as they are, social spending is currently not enough. And I didn't mean to do that. I meant to just keep it at 50% from now on. It's expensive, but it's nothing I can do. And unfortunately, these ships are still stuck. Number of reserves is slightly increased, but not by much. That's a bit of a shock. So unfortunately, this village will now be reinforced under their protection. And that's gonna be annoying. Even though... well, sorry, I've been kind of lost in thought a little bit. Even though the UN is actually concerned, so if Canada declares war again, or 2 more times, depending, it's possible they might be kicked out, as, unfortunately for them, they don't have a casus belli. Only 1% right now, but that's just it. Not so sure about the United States. I mean, they did have a casus belli for one small reason, that's understandable, but still. As for us, UN approval is good. Treaty integrity is only 50%. UN subsidy rating is 53%. That's still a bit frustrating. Even if I was trying to maintain trade agreements with certain nations, such as, right now Spain, I guess, we can just give, a certain amount of stuff. Sadly, even if I give a bit more, Like right now, trying to give this amount and they just won't accept any offer. Even though our relations are okay, that it just won't accept. I'm not so sure about if I give technology, will that work? It kinda does. A total of $1 billion in this case. These though I guess I will give just so we can have a little extra money right now. But things are just not looking good. Social spending is ridiculously expensive. Inflation is just not gonna be enough. GDP is continuously on the rise, and there's just no way for me to control all this. Even if I let the AI do whatever it can, even if I put him on certain things, it just isn't gonna be enough. So things are just gonna keep getting worse and worse for Italy. As on the homeland, that's one thing, but our holdings in North America are a completely different story. Well, at least Spain accepted. At least these aircraft fabrications are almost done. Naval fabrications, not quite. Hopefully, it's only a tiny hope that maybe we might be able to just build up our army, but this is still continuously to become more and more frustrating as Italy. So there's nothing I can do. Trade in question, well, I still have a few headaches to deal with, and unfortunately trade is practically non-existent. So I really don't know about that. Anyway, I'm going to stop right here, and sorry if that war was a little short, I guess. But that was a bit of a shock for me of the fact that that Canada actually managed to fight back just as hard. Understandable, but now there's nothing we can do. They're more advanced, and there's whatever. There's just nothing we can do. We don't even have a single military presence, or even if I did, if I recall, unfortunately our reserves are tiny. Rather embarrassing compared to the rest of the empire in question. Something that doesn't really make any sense, even if I was managed to increase all this. And now it's suddenly dropped to 167,000 people. How does that make any sense? Whatever. I'm going to end right here. I'll do another time scale, hopefully get the number of troops I have in reserve increased, but also deal with the economy. But, if this keeps up, I may be a little more desperate for acquiring land. The only target right now is Russia. We still have 100% possibility to go to war, so long as I can deploy forces along the borders. But, unfortunately, I am a little worried, as their sheer numbers could overwhelm me and my ally if that's the case. And oh yeah, better not forget about Belarus declaring war as well. Not so sure about them. Russia, I have doubts. Turkey, we don't no longer have a possibility, but they do. So there's nothing I can do. I cannot make any more allies after all, since every single non-allied nation hates me. Even though we were the victims, we were attacked by Canada, we were attacked by the United States, and why? Because we attacked the German Reich? How does that make any sense? Well, that and perhaps because of the my poor decision on the social spending, I guess, but even when everything's improved, it's not going to change anything, so I guess I'll just soldier on whatever I can. Sorry if that I rambled a little too long, but I just gotta point out some things that I'm really having a headache. Or going to have a bigger headache from now on. But hope you enjoy this. At least I hope so. And see you again in the next episode.